People misapply choice and decision. Choice is you can change, you can choose within the 10 seconds, and you can choose again, and you can choose again, and you can choose again. It's not set in stone. But when people make a decision, it's like set, it's fixed, and they tend to defend the decision. If you function from choice, there is infinite choice and infinite possibility. If you function from decision, there is one good decision and limited possibility.
Okay, so some very specific examples from our own business. All right, we had a client who asked us to work with them. Something didn't feel quite right. So Chitissa asked me, do I choose to work with this client? And I did what we call fence sitting. Maybe if I did this, I could do that, but then again it might be difficult. So maybe, and so I was prevaricating. I was going from one side. I was sitting on the fence, and Chitissa looked at me and said, "In this 10 seconds, are you choosing to work with this client?" And it was that point that I recognised the difference between a choice and a decision. And in this 10 seconds, I said, no. My choice was not to work with the client in that 10 seconds, but I then knew I could always choose differently later.
Choice only can last 10 seconds at a time. It doesn't set in stone. That's the difference between choice and decision. Choice, you can make a choice in every 10 seconds. For that 10 seconds, you might not choose to work with that client. But if things change, like energy shift and change, then you can choose differently. But when you make decision, it's fixed. It's a fixed point of view. When I asked him at the beginning, would you choose to work with this client? Because it felt heavy. And when he was fence sitting, I then asked, so what does this client require of you? From there, you can tap into her energy and found that she requires of us to prove that she's right and everyone else wrong.
And when I was going, maybe if I did this, then maybe if I did that, I was misidentifying the decision. The decision would be, I will never work with this client. My choice was not to work with the client for that 10 seconds. That client, I then called and said, this doesn't work for me, thank you. And the energy that person received from me was the gratitude, not the decision that I didn't want to work with them. Here's the magic of choice. 2 months later, that client called us up with a larger project, and I then chose to work with them because something had changed in her universe.
The point here is that people misapply choice and decision.